Good morning, hello, welcome to This Date in History, also known as TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things that we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information comes from the smart device application, Today in History, What Happened Today in History, historical calendar, and the website onthisday.com. For links to those sources, the music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar in the description below. Anyway, I am A.O. Xander, and it is storming outside. It looks a little lighter than it actually is. Trick of the camera. But we have rain, we have thunder, we have lightning, and a possibility of the show going dark. My dad is up at work, and they had the storm earlier, and all the power's out. So if I just suddenly vanish, at least I gave you a forewarning. Anyway, today is Woden's Day, also known as Wednesday, June 22nd, 2022. Starting us off in the year, wrong one, here we go. 1377, 10-year-old Richard of Bordeaux succeeded his grandfather Edward III as Richard II, King of England. Alright. 1533, Ferdinand of Austria and Ottoman Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent signed a peace treaty. I really want one of these onion hats, dude. Like, look at the size of that. It's ridiculous. 1535, Cardinal John Fisher was beheaded in the on Tower Hill in London for refusing to acknowledge Henry VIII as the head of the Church of England. 1611, English explorer Henry Hudson, his son, and 7 others were set adrift in Hudson Bay by mutineers on his ship Discovery and were never seen again. That sucks. That's such a famous name. Horrible, tragic ending. 1633, Galileo Galilei was forced to recant his Copernican views that the Earth orbits the Sun by the Pope. The Vatican only admits it was wrong on October 31st, 1992. 1992. I was alive, and then they finally admitted they are wrong, involving somebody 400 years prior. Vatican, you need to go. 1675, Royal Greenwich Observatory was established in England by Charles II. And yes, this is how we get our time zones. You know, green with time and everything. That's where everything, revolves around. So, anyway, moving on up into 1812, upon learning of the plans by the Americans to execute a surprise attack, Laura Secord walked 32 kilometers to warn British troops, which resulted in a British surprise victory at the Battle of Beaver Dams. Wow. Snitches get stitches. I hope somebody executed that bitch. 1815, second abdication of Napoleon after Waterloo occurred. 1848, barn burners or anti-slavery party nominated Martin Van Buren for president. Nice. 1865, acknowledged as first-class cricket debut for Dr. W.G. Grace. As a 16-year-old, he was dismissed for 0 playing for gentlemen of South versus players of South at Kennington Oval, London. I think I had a stroke trying to read that. I don't understand cricket at all. 1910, the first airship with passengers were set afloat, Zeppelin Deutschland. Yep. 1911, King George V was crowned of the King of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland, Canada, Australia, South Africa, New Zealand, and all his realms and territories beyond the sea. Dang. 1921, Paavo Nurmi ran world record 1,000 meters in 30 minutes, 40.2 seconds. Also in moving on up into 1930, New York Yankees first baseman Lou Gehrig smashed 3 home runs in 20-13 win over Philadelphia A's at Shibe Park. 1934, John Dillinger was informally named after U.S.'s first Public Enemy #1. Dang. Isn't there a gun named Dillinger or something? I don't know. 1937, challenger Joe Louis knocks out James J. Braddock in the 8th round at Chicago's Comiskey Park for the World Heavyweight Boxing title. 2 years later, in 1939, Princess and future Queen Elizabeth met her future husband, Prince Philip of Greece, Midshipman Mountbatten RN, whatever RN is. 1941, during Operation Barbarossa, Nazi Germany and its allies invaded the Soviet Union during the Second World War, the largest military operation in history. Actually, at least recorded history. So, dang, so Operation Barbarossa happened now. 1942, European broadcasted premiere of Dmitri Shostakovich's Seventh Symphony in London, conducted by Sir Henry J. Wood and the London Philharmonic Orchestra. 1943, W.E.B. Du Bois became the first black member of the National Institute of Letters. Cool. Also, 1943, 617 Squadron, the Dam Busters, attended investiture at Buckingham Palace. Commanding Officer Guy Gibson awarded the Victoria Cross. Yeah, the Dam Busters. It was really interesting how they knocked out those dams. 1944, U.S. President Franklin Roosevelt signed the GI Bill of Rights, or the Servicemen Readjustment Act. So let's, what is the Servicemen Readjustment Act? Let's look that up here real quick. Commonly known as the GI Bill, it was a law that provided a range of benefits for some of the returning World War II veterans. The original GI Bill expired in 1956. Interesting. So I'm going to add this into the underbar. Come on. And add it. What else happened on this date in history? 1946, Bill Veeck purchased the Cleveland Indians. Also in 1946, speaking at a prayer meeting in New Delhi, Gandhi called on the South African government to stop hooliganism by whites. Gandhi, a little anti-white racism there going on. Then again, you know, somebody who just haphazardly launches nukes, you know, in Civilization 3 cannot be trusted. 1949, Ezzard Charles defeated Jersey Joe Walcott in 15 for National Boxing Association World Heavyweight title. 1955, Antonio Segni formed a government in Italy. Okay. 1955 as well, Walt Disney animated film Lady and the Tramp was released. Wow, that was a long time ago. I have that on VHS still. 1959, Class, the first hit by Chubby Checker, peaked at number 38 in the US. Also in 1959, the most Phillies strike out in a game, 16 by Sandy Koufax. Dang. Moving on up into 1961, Major League Baseball Chicago Cubs Ernie Banks ended 717 consecutive games played streak. Wow, that's impressive. 1963, Little Stevie Wonder, age 13, released his first single, Fingertips, the first live non-studio recording to go number 1 on Billboard. 1969, Aretha Franklin was arrested in Detroit for creating a disturbance. 1970, President Richard Nixon signed the extension of the 1965 Voting Rights Act that required voting age at 18 in all federal, state, and local elections. Yep. 1971, Reprise Records released Blue, from Canadian singer-songwriter John Mitchell's fourth studio album. 2 years later, in 1973, George Harrison released his fourth studio album, Living in the Material World, in the UK. 1979, Larry Holmes technically knocks out Mike Weaver in 12 for heavyweight boxing title. 1979, Little Richard quit the rock and roll for life for religious pursuit. Well, you know what? I guess that does make rock and roll the devil's music. You know, that's interesting. In 1980, Pope John Paul II beatified Katri Tekakwitha, making her the first Native American to be beatified. Beatified. I don't know what is beautiful. What is beautified? Improve the appearance of what? No, not beautified. Beatified? What is beatified? Beatified. Announce the beatification of. Okay, hold on a second. It is a recognition accorded by the Catholic Church of a deceased person's entrance into heaven and capacity to intercede on behalf of individuals who pray in their name. Okay, so essentially it's the old version of like and share, this Facebook post in order to spread awareness. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll keep you in our prayers. We'll give you our thumbs up. Oh, spread awareness. Yeah. Yeah, like that works. 1981, John McEnroe's famous "You Cannot Be Serious" rant in the first round won over Tom Gullickson at Wimbledon. Also, 1981, Mark David Chapman pled guilty to killing former Beatle John Lennon. Dang. 365 days later, in 1982, Pete Rose got his 3,772nd hit, moved past Aaron into second place. Also in 1982, Prince Charles and Princess Diana took their newborn son, Prince William, home from the hospital. Why does this guy kind of look like Mike Stelzer in this picture? Yeah, has that little smile. Mike Stelzer! 1984, Richard Branson's Virgin Atlantic Airways commenced operations with flight from Gatwick to New York. Or to Newark. No, sorry. Newark, New Jersey. 1985, Smuggler's Blues by Glenn Ferry peaked at number 12. 1987, Tom Seaver retired after third try with New York Mets. 1990 as well, Billy Joel performed a concert at Yankee Stadium in New York City. Also in 1990, Nelson Mandela addressed the United Nations Special Committee against Apartheid in New York, saying that nothing has occurred in South Africa to reverse the ANC's position. 1990 as well, Adam Sandler joined the Saturday Night Live cast. Interesting. Man, there's a lot of 1990s in here. Glastonbury Festival in Pilton, England opened. The Cure and Ladysmith Black Mambazo headlined with other performers including Sinead O'Connor, Neville Brothers, Recoder, Delamitri, Flacco Jimenez, Hot House Flowers, and World Party. This, I can't tell what this is. Is that... 1991, the NHL draft saw Oshawa Generals center Eric Lindros, the first pick by Quebec Nordiquois. Nordiqua? I don't know. Moving on up into 1992, two skeletons were excavated in Yekaterinburg. Russia identified as Tsar Nicholas II and Tsarina Alexandria. Interesting. 1993, Wilson Pickett pled guilty to auto assault due to drunk driving. Dang. 1994, the 40th NBA Championship, Houston Rockets defeated the New York Knicks 4-3. Also in 1994, Ken Griffey Jr. broke Ruth's record for most home runs, ended by June 31st. Well, didn't he also get disqualified from all that due to all the doping and everything? You know? 1976, Michael Moorer defeated Axel Schultz in 11 for IBF heavyweight boxing title. 2009, during the U.S. Open Men's Golf, Bethpage State Park, Lucas Glover won his only major title, 2 strokes ahead of runners-up Ricky Barnes and David Duval and Phil Mickelson. 1 year later, in 2010, Daniel Steele's novel Family Ties was published. 365 days later, in 2011, after hiding for 16 years, Boston gangster Whitney Bulger was arrested outside an apartment in Santa Monica, California. Wow, that's not that far. 2011 as well, Glastonbury Festival in Pilton, England opened with U2, Coldplay, and Beyonce headlining, with other performers including B.B. King, Paul Simon, Mumford & Sons, Morrissey, and the Wu-Tang Clan. 2016, the Glastonbury Festival in Pilton, England opened. Coldplay and Adele headlined. Other performers included Tame Impala, Squeeze, Frightened Rabbit, ZZ Top, ELO, and Cyndi Lauper. ZZ Top. Nice. Squeeze the Frightened Rabbit, though. I don't think the rabbit would be too happy with you doing that. 2017, Prince Harry claimed no one in the UK royal family wanted to be king or queen in an article published in Newsweek. Then abdicate. Get rid of your prince title. But actually, is this the guy who married that civilian and got rid of all of his royalties, or is that the other way around? I don't remember anymore because I don't care because it's meaningless. 2018, comedian John Oliver was blocked on Chinese social media after a parody of Chinese leader Xi Jinping. Good. And John Oliver, you're a piece of shit. Tell you that. Fucking leftist nutjob. 2018, President Trump spokesperson Sarah Sanders was asked to leave Red Hen Restaurant in Lexington, Virginia, over her support of Trump's policies, igniting a debate. Wow. These leftists just can't handle anything. 2021, just last year, Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez, this guy looks like John Oliver, he pardoned 9 Catalan politicians and activists for the 2017 illegal secession referendum. You know, like Boris Johnson looks like a disheveled Trump. This guy kind of looks like a John Oliver that hasn't put his makeup on. Anyway, what were your favorite articles in today's show? You know, post what you liked in the underbar. You know, if you have any more information, if you have any questions, you know, all that stuff. You know, start, you know, participating. You know, come on in. Moving on into verse 662, we have Roy Zong, Emperor of the Tang Dynasty, dying in 716. 916, Saif al-Dawla, founder of the Emirate of Aleppo, died in 967. 1000, Robert I, Duke of Normandy, died in 1035, so he only lived for 35 years. That's not really that long. 1427, Lucrezia Tornabuoni was an Italian writer and wife of Piero di Cosimo de' Medici, died in 1482. 1593, Sir John Gell, 1st Baronet, English politician and militarian, dying in 1671. Let me look up the actual definition. What is a militarian? It's pretty self-explanatory, I think. A person in or involved with military service. Okay. Alright. 1713, we have John Sackville, English cricketer and politician, died in 1765. 1757, George Vancouver was an English lieutenant and explorer, dying in 1798. But that makes me wonder, like, who Vancouver was named after who? George Vancouver. Okay, that's what I thought. Alright. Namesake for Vancouver. But which Vancouver is this? In April. Trans-Canadian, so Canada. At least. I'm not sure. Probably the same goes, you know, for the Vancouver up in Washington. 1837, Ernst Ziller was a German-Greek architect who designed the presidential mansion, dying in 1923. Now, is this our presidential mansion, or what? Let's see here. Presidential mansion, images. What was this guy's name? Ernst Ziller. So, Ernst Ziller. This one. Okay. Oh, okay, so it has to be, it's the one in Greece. Alright. Well, that makes sense. Moving up in 1855, Samuel Morse was an Australian cricketer, dying in 1931. Not the Samuel Morse who invented Morse code or anything like that. 1856, Henry Rider Haggard, English novelist, you know, died in 1925. 1894, Bernard Ashmole. Damn, man, your mole's all ashy. Put some lotion on that shit. English archaeologist and art historian, dying in 1988. 1899, Richard Gurley Drew was an American engineer who invented masking tape. So all the kidnappers really like this guy. Died in 1980. 1993, John Dillinger, U.S. criminal, was born on this date. He died in 1934. 1910, Conrad Zeus. So, like, we spoke about Dillinger earlier. So he got captured today, so it was his birthday. Maybe he let his guard down. I don't know. Anyway, 1910, Conrad Zeus was a German computer scientist and engineer who invented the Z3 computer. What is the Z3 computer? Let's take a look at that. It was a German electromechanical computer designed by Conrad Zeus in 1935 and completed in 1941. It was the world's first working programmable, fully automatic digital computer. The Z3 was built with 2,600 relays, implementing a 22-bit word length that operated at a clock frequency of about 5 to 10 hertz. Interesting. I'm definitely going to add that in the underbar, so... Right there. Alright. Who else was born on this date? 1915, Dolf van der Linden. Van der Linden. He was a Dutch conductor and composer, dying in 1999. I know who this guy was. Dutch van der Linden. He was a Dutch, and his last name is van der Linden. You can't fool me with that witness protection program bullshit. I know who this man was. Also in 1915, Cornelius Warmerdam was a U.S. pole vaulter and coach, dying in 2001. 1916, Emil Fackenheim was a German Jewish philosopher and Reform rabbi, dying in 2003. 1918 saw Cicely Saunders born to date. She was an English nurse, social worker, physician, and writer, dying in 2005. 1921, Joseph Papp. Man, I really hope nobody smeared that name. He was a director for the U.S. and also a producer, dying in 1991. 1922, Bill Blass, a U.S. fashion designer who founded Bill Blass Group, dying in 2002. 1924, Christopher Booth was an English clinician and historian, dying in 2012. 1926, George Englund was born on this date. He was a U.S. film editor, director, producer, and actor, dying in 2017. 1927, Anthony Lowe, Indian English historian and academic, died in 2015. 1930, Yuri Artyukhin. He was a Russian colonel, engineer, and cosmonaut. Once again, my stupid-ass source mislabeled him an astronaut. He died in 1998. This date, today in history, what happened today in history, source? Get on your shit. There were no Russian astronauts. They're called cosmonauts. Alright, come on, as a historian, you guys should know this. 1932, speaking of being salty, June Salter, Australian actress, dying in 2001. 1932, Prunella Scales, English actress. 1936, Chris Christopherson, a U.S. singer, songwriter, guitarist, and actor. 1937, Chris Blackwell, English record producer who co-founded Island Records. 1943, Britt Hume, U.S. journalist and author. My autocorrect likes to finish words. 1944, Peter Asher, English singer, guitarist, and producer. So that's where all the ashiness comes from. This guy goes around, like, we have Salters, we have Ashers, you know. Well, 1946, Elias Osha, Cuban singer, songwriter, guitarist, and producer. 1948, Todd Rundgren, Rundgren, U.S. singer, songwriter, guitarist, and producer. 1949, Meryl Streep. That's a name that I recognize, but beyond that, I have no idea who the hell that person is. I believe that's a she, a U.S. actress. Yeah, U.S. actress is a she. 1949 as well saw Elizabeth Warren, U.S. academic and politician. I think that's where the Warren Commission comes from. I'm not sure. 1951, Brian Cookson is a British cyclist and sports administrator. 1951, Humphrey Ocean. He does what to the ocean? He's an English painter and academic. 1953, Cyndi Lauper is a U.S. singer, songwriter, producer, and actress. 1954, Freddie Prinze was born on this date. He was a U.S. comedian and actor, dying in 1977. That's a rather short life. 1957, Gary Beers, Australian bass player, songwriter, and producer. That cannot be his actual name. Let me look that up real quick. Gary Beers. Gary William Beers. Okay. I don't know why you had to... Nope. Copy. And then... paste. AKA... 1957, we have Kevin Bond. James Bond's lesser-known, brother. He was an English footballer and manager. He didn't get into MI6 or anything. He just decided to play sports. So, 1958, Bruce Campbell is a U.S. actor, director, producer, and writer. 1962, Stephen Chow is a Hong Kong actor, director, producer, and screenwriter. 1962, Gerald Hillringhouse. Damn it, Hong Kong. He is a German footballer. What a name, Hillringhouse. Is that a house that rings on top of the hill? Like, is that a church up there? I don't know. 1964, Cadillac Anderson, U.S. basketball player. What a name, Cadillac. 1966, Michael Park was an English racing driver, dying in 2005. Yeah, should have parked, dude, 1973, Carson Daly, U.S. radio and television host. 1974, VJ, an Indian actor. I think you should probably change your name, good sir. 1978, Champ Bailey, U.S. football player. 1979, Joey Cheek, U.S. speed skater. There's a joke in there. 1994, Carlos Vinicius Santos de Jesus, or Jesus. He is a Brazilian footballer. Anyway, moving on up into death, starting us off in the year 431, we have Paulinus of Nola, a Christian bishop and poet, dying in born in 354. This is born. There we go. 910, Gebhard, a Frankish nobleman, birth is unknown. 910 as well. Gebhard the First, a Frankish nobleman. Birth is unknown. Are these two the same people? I'm not sure because we have two things: Gebhard and Gebhard the First. So I don't know. Source, stop screwing me up. Come on. 1017. Leo Passianos was a Byzantine general. Birth is unknown. Doing a hell of a time jump here into 1928. A.B. Frost died on the stage. He was a U.S. illustrator and painter. He was born in 1851, and his actual name is Arthur Burdett Frost. Alright. Copy, paste. Oh. Control V. Save. 1938, C.J. Dennis was an Australian poet and author. Was born in 1876. Right? Yep. Clarence Michael James Staney Salas Dennis. Well, now I know why he goes by CJ. Then 1977, Peter Loeffner, U.S. singer, songwriter, and guitarist. He was born in 1952. 1987, Fred Astaire died. He was a U.S. actor and dancer. He was born in 1899. 2004, Matty Stepanek was a U.S. poet and author, born in 1990. 2008, this is a tough one. George Carlin. May you rest in peace, good sir. He is a U.S. comedy god, actor, and author. He was born in 1937. George, may you rest in peace. We need you now more than ever, but I'm afraid that the masses would cancel you into submission, so fortunately, unfortunately, you exited stage left when you needed to. Or did you? I don't know. And last but not least, 2013, we have Henning Larsen, the Danish architect who designed the Copenhagen Opera House. This man was born in 1925. Let's see what the Copenhagen Opera House looked like. Copenhagen. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's actually really cool. I like that. Anyway, that concludes the show. Once again, you can check the underbar, the description, for any links that you may be interested in, which also includes everything Omni Coalition. For your dose of passive events daily, we stream every day at 10 in the morning Pacific time, which is 11 Mountain, 12 Central, and 1 p.m. in the afternoon, as opposed to 1 p.m. in the morning, Eastern time. For all of you and all of us, I am A.O. Xander, and you are you, and until you catch us tomorrow, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection. Seriously, look both ways, people. Don't get hit. Lawsuits don't help you if you're dead. Rate 5 thumbs and subscribe. Until tomorrow, toodles. Let's go, Brandon.